All right, guys, interesting development. I was up north in that Barrington Deer Park. As I get off the roof and pull out of that particular suburb, starts pouring rain. And I looked at the projections for today's rain likeliness, and it was 2%. So long story short, I had to reschedule that noon. Now I'm heading to my 2 p.m. in Plainfield, which was completely unfazed by any rain. So it was a very small pocket of rain that hit basically exactly where I was at. The rest of the state's completely dry, even though it is slightly overcast, cloudy, and windy.
Yeah, waved you gone goodbye. I heard you found yourself a brand new man, put a rock on your finger and he vowed you a second chance, built a house right by the coast.
Morning, guys. It is Wednesday, April 29th. Just finishing out this month strong. I did about $500,000 in revenue this past month. So heading up to the office right now at 7:30. Just got a good left in. Heading up to the office to drop off 2 contracts and some checks, and then got a busy day ahead, 4 or 5 appointments, including another adjuster meeting at 4:30. Should be a good day, good content. Looks like, multiple pockets within the United States are just getting slammed with hail all throughout. I mean, Missouri was showing like 4-inch hail, 2 different parts of Missouri, 2 different areas within Texas, we're also showing 3 and 4-inch hail. So it's been a crazy start to the season in terms of active storms in the United States. I don't know what that really means for Illinois, but we're off to a good solid start. I mean, everything that I'm seeing right now indicates that I should hit, $2 to $3 million in revenue, and hopefully we can land a big project like we did last year, which will bring me up into that $4 or $5 million revenue. We'll see. I mean, every day is a new hunt. Every day is a new referral. I would say the lion's share of the referrals that I'm receiving are for 25 to 30 square roofs, single family residential homes. So a little bit different than years past, where you get a real wide variety of square footages and properties that you're looking at. But man, Bolingbrook and Darien and Downers and Woodridge, they're all neighborhoods which are built similarly. So, those structures are the structures, and there's not really a whole lot you can do or say in terms of influencing the kind of contract size that we're working with currently. So average ticket price right now per contract has been right around 25 to 30K. Some larger and some smaller, obviously, but those are good singles. I mean, if you do 100 of those in a year, you're doing $2 to $3 million a year. Typically speaking, that type of clientele is eager to get the job done correctly, and they see your value proposition for what it is. And nowadays, with the deductibles being 4 figures plus and a percentage associated with the structure, the homeowner has a lot more at stake when they sign a contract with a contractor. So our value add is unparalleled, and I'd say that roughly 90 to 95% of the referrals that I'm receiving, those homeowners value what it is that I'm presenting to them. Yesterday I met with a customer over in Westmont. He works in PDR, so he kind of knows the intricacies associated with hail-related losses. And I just kind of explained to him, hey, we work through the insurance process and the paperwork and everything like that. You've got aluminum siding, so we'll upgrade that. You've got a 15-year-old roof, and we'll upgrade that as well. Full system warranty. Non-prorated, fully transferable. And once I had explained all of that, he looked me dead in the eye and said, Justin, I'm not shopping around. You're my guy here. So that's always nice to hear, especially with how competitive the marketplace is in Chicagoland. I mean, 6-7 weeks into this storm, right? 6-7 weeks, yeah. I would say that, probably 60 to 75% of homeowners have already contracted to do work with in some way, shape, or form. So that still leaves us with 40 or 25 to 40%, but out of that 25 to 40%, we Style Exteriors and myself, we typically do a pretty good job of earning that business, because those customers are a little bit more apprehensive in moving forward, because they understand that there's just a ton of storm chasers in the marketplace, and for lack of a better word, it is a money grab. So it's shaking out to be a very fun season so far, a very stressful season so far, a lot of blessings so far. So I'm excited to continue to pump out a solid amount of content for you guys. My goal with being this busy is 1 video a week. And I think that as the weather improves and we have more opportunities to provide you with content and shoot content, we'll definitely be able to stand by that. But you know, this last 2-3 weeks, it's just been straight raining on and off. So some days are 75, 80 degrees and sunny. Other days are 40 degrees post rain with, you know, 2 inches of standing water on the ground. I don't inspect roofs when they're wet. And frankly, I recommend that if you're in the industry that you stay away from inspecting a bunch of wet roofs. They're dangerous. Your ladders are wet. The soil is wet. The roofs are wet. It's just not a good business practice, and it's dangerous, and I just stay away from it. So anyways, we're heading up north now. We're gonna go drop off all this paperwork, get some files together so that we can add them to the production list. And from there, we're heading over to an inspection for a homeowner over in Libertyville. And then from there, we're heading to an inspection in North Barrington. And then from there, I'm heading to Plainfield for a storm-related inspection. And then I think I've got one other inspection, and then we've got our adjuster meeting at 4:30 in Downers. So I'll keep the content coming as the day progresses, and we'll go from there. All right, guys, out here in Libertyville, Illinois today. Homeowner called into the office asking for an inspection. Got the ladder all set up. Let's see what we got up top. Roof looks to be 20, 25 years old. Architectural shingle. There's some small collateral, maybe 3/4 inch to 1 inch. See, there's some issues with the gutters already. Yeah, if you look, there's some manufacturer defect going on here. You can see all the exposed matting here. Roof's in pretty rough shape. Again, front-facing slope, left elevation slope. Got a clogged dead valley here. Old ridge vent system here. Exposed nail from day one. More exposed nails. Yeah, the roof's just old, man. Old and beat up. 4-inch. Another 4-inch. Yeah, not really a whole lot to go off of here. Grasping at straws. Nail pop here. Issues from fallen tree branch. So, I don't know. Just gonna take some photos and document for the customer and let them know, hey, this thing's just old and beat up. Not really a whole lot of claimable hail damage. Tear in the ridge cap. This front-facing slope's pretty rough too. It's not horrible, but not great either. Algae growth on this right slope. Maybe there's some hail on this rear slope, but I mean, it's sparse at best. Yeah, not seeing a whole lot. All right, get some more photos of this front. And just let the homeowner know, hey, you're on the shot clock here. Exposed nail here. Front. All right, on to the next one. We're heading to North Barrington next. we'll see what we can do there. All right, guys, interesting development. I was up north in that Barrington Deer Park, Killdeer, Lake Zurich area, and I finished up that inspection that I videoed for you guys. As I get off the roof and pull out of that particular suburb, it starts pouring rain, like sheets of rain. And I looked at the projections for today's rain likeliness, and it was 2%. So, long story short, I had to reschedule that noon, which was in North Barrington. We'll go check that out at some point tomorrow morning and grab some lunch and then touch base with the office real quick once more. Now I'm heading to my 2 p.m. in Plainfield, which was completely unfazed by any rain. So it was a very small pocket of rain that hit basically exactly where I was at. The rest of the state's completely dry, even though it is slightly overcast, cloudy, and windy. Balmy 58 degrees today. So anyways, we're gonna go check out this property here. The homeowner had filed a claim. The claim was denied, and the roof is old. So we were introduced to the customer or the homeowner to see what it is that we've got to work with here, and we'll kind of just navigate accordingly. Fortunately, this is all too common. Areas that haven't sustained legitimate damage, they're targeted by contractors in hopes that, you know, something will get approved. And now this homeowner, who's a widower, she's kind of stuck holding the bag, and her original contractor / public adjuster is no longer answering their phone. So she's got an open claim for very small minor repairs and has no one to turn to. So we'll see what we can do in order to help her out. But I mean, this kind of interaction here that I'm about to pull up to is all too common, unfortunately, but it is what it is. It's a byproduct of the industry that we're in. So we'll check it out, see what's going on, and hopefully we can help her in terms of moving forward. So I'll keep you guys updated. Holy cow. I pull up to this customer's house in Plainfield. She lives in a home that's a mile from my house, and she's got multiple tarps installed on the roof, and I recognize the company that installed the tarps because they've got their logo up on the roof. I have a conversation with her, and she's explaining to me how she feels like her claim's being under or mishandled, and that, you know, her insurance carrier is doing her wrong and all this kind of stuff. And I explained to her very clearly, hey, let me check it out. I'll let you know what my thoughts are. If we've got a case here, then we'll definitely pursue it. And if we don't, then I'll have that conversation with you then. And she didn't like hearing that. So I get deeper and deeper into this conversation, and it turns out that she wants her contractor, who's been fighting this claim for 16 or 18 months, to meet me. And I explained to her very cordially, hey, I'm not in the business of meeting with other contractors. That's competition. It's not in our best interest in order to do that. And as I'm explaining that to her, she starts yelling at me and telling me basically like, oh, you're working for me. And I'm like, man, we don't have a contract. I'm not interested. It's a $20,000 contract. So anyways, as she's yelling at me, I like walk backwards to get off of her front porch, because at this point you can tell that the conversation's not going the way that it needs to go. And as I do so, I turn around and there's her roofer parked out in the back behind me. I look at her and I go, excuse me, ma'am, I'm heading out. This is not a situation I want to be a part of. I feel like this could have been handled completely differently. I explained very thoroughly before you and I met that I'm a roofing contractor, so I don't understand why I need another contractor with me here that is someone else that's in our marketplace. And she basically was demanding I get up on the roof, and that she wants a second set of eyes on it. And long story short, her roofer gets out and is like, why are you here? He has no idea why he's seeing another roofer here. And I just looked at the homeowner and I said, hey, ma'am, I don't know what this whole situation's about, but I'm not interested. It's time for me to leave. I don't know what these guys have been telling you, but I know for a fact, with me living a mile from your house, that you've been led on a wild goose chase, and I wish you the best with this whole situation. And with that, I shook her hand and walked away, jumped in my truck and headed out. And as I did that, the other roofer also pulled out of there. So he was also equally as frustrated with this whole situation. So anyways, complete and utter waste of my time. I explained very thoroughly to her that she was wasting my time. I had just driven an hour to be there. I spent money on my own time, gas, overhead in order to be there to help her out. And she was basically treating me like a doormat. Tried to do so in the most professional manner possible, but again, just absolutely crazy. In 10 years, I've never had that happen, which is just tells you everything. I mean, I've ran thousands of appointments over the years, and it just happened right now. So anyways, just set it, forget it, on to the next one. Heading over to Downers Grove for 2 more inspections in order to wrap up the day. and then just some paperwork this evening. I've got an inspection right now for a customer I had worked with back in 2024. We replaced all of her old vinyl siding on her detached garage, and she just reached out to me in the past couple days asking if we can give her an estimate in order to replace her roof on her main structure. So I'll get some content uploaded and videoed in regards to the inspection over there, and we'll see how we can help her out and where we can go from there. All right, guys, out here in Downers Grove, looks like it's an old GAF roof just based on this hip and ridge. Looks like the old triple laminate here. So actually it could be Owens Corning as well, but most likely GAF just based on the mat. Looks like no real legitimate hail damage here, which I have been finding in certain pockets of Downers Grove, so I figured I'd check this one out for that as well. But this homeowner just needs a new roof. We'll give her a quote. Like I had mentioned before, we've worked with her in the past. We actually resided this entire structure here for her. She was having issues with mice and pests, so we resided that whole structure a couple years back, and she called us out in order to check everything out here today. So I'll give her a quote for this roof here, all new vents, and then the detached garage as well, and we'll see what we can do from there. What's going on, guys? Just wrapping up for the day. Those last two appointments, or that last appointment of the day, ended up being canceled due to rain. We had crazy patterns coming through Illinois today. When I woke up this morning, it showed a 2% chance of rain, and sure enough, a handful of those inspections and adjuster meetings that I had scheduled were basically washed out and rescheduled. So anyways, I'm going to wrap the video here. It was a crazy day with customer interactions, the rainouts, and everything in between. But we'll get this video uploaded, and hopefully we can get it out on YouTube in the next day or two, and we'll go from there. Appreciate you guys following, and I'll continue to make some good content for you all.